Alright, welcome back to the stream. For this stream, I thought it'd be fun to go catch a Spiritomb, and just to show you that process, what it looks like. They show up in graveyards, and they tend to have their own little space in the graveyard. And you'll see there's this odd keystone here, and if you select it, it says a voice whispers from within. 107. Bring 107. And then if you have life force, it'll auto-suggest giving it life force. Which of course, if you can give it 107 life force, then you'll get an encounter. So of course this means that we're going to be farming our ghost type Pokemon if I'm ever allowed to leave from the graveyard. I guess I could go this way. Oh, is the way open? Let's get past him real quick. Oh, okay, we're good. So yeah, and so last stream I caught Regigigas, and I realized that if I was smarter and if I had better strategy going into this, I wouldn't have trained up my Sableye. I would have gotten a Spiritomb first. Not that they're, it's not like the biggest, it's not the biggest difference. And actually, I haven't even looked at the move pool for Spiritomb. I just have a suspicion that Spiritomb is going to be a little bit better than Sableye. Could be wrong. But hey, let's start picking up some of these, hopefully. Yeah. Life forces. Oh, you're not even supposed to be here. What are you doing? Let's get rid of you. And there's also an egg that I should pick up and hopefully hatch. Oh, I need to do a better job of taking care of my Pokemon, man. I have them all lined up in rows. There's no walking space. That one's asleep and, gonna die. I just have it sitting in a graveyard. I'm a terrible Pokemon trainer. Okay, well, we'll pick up this egg, though. Oh, I didn't drop. Of course, that makes sense. I think I saw that it said that it was sleeping, and I was just like, oh, well, I'll just leave it in bed. Which obviously isn't how it works, but... Okay, this will probably hatch into another ghost type, which will be very good for us. So, yeah, you already gave me something. That's cool. Yeah, there we go. I'm pretty sure... I think Haunter and Lampent are the only ones that can potentially not give me life force in this lineup. I love the design of Spiritomb in this game. I think it fits well with the core gameplay, because you catch all these Pokemon, you separate them by type, you build these habitats for them, and then you're like, okay, well, I built these habitats, what am I supposed to do next? Well, you take what they give you and you go out and adventure in the overworld and find things to use it, like in this case, life force. The life force is also just super helpful for crafting ultra balls. We should use these berries that I'm picking to wake up Shieldon, even though he's probably still walking around in the house. It's been a while since my last stream. I've been pretty busy. I finished the desk for my office. I'm actually playing off of my new desk, which is great. I set up the drawers on the side. I have my N64 and my Wii, and I haven't moved my Switch because that's mainly set up to my TV, so I don't. But it could go in a drawer in the future. And I've also started, I've got my tank set up. Set up is in like I have staged everything. But now I finally reached the point where it's like, okay, I can buy plants. And then once I have my plants, I can, you know, actually do the build. Put the water in, put my plants in, put my hardscape in. So I'll definitely keep updates on how my aquarium develops. I haven't had an aquarium since I was a kid, so I'm hoping that it isn't an outright disaster. but apart from that, I've been watching a lot of movies. A lot of war movies. Mainly because I sort of felt like I hadn't seen many of them. I've watched like Saving Private Ryan, Dunkirk, 1917, All Quiet on the Western Front. Watched that in 8th grade. I did not. The gravity of war was not impressed upon my 8-year-old mind from that movie, because it was just like, yeah, war sucks. Like, people die in war. What do you want me to? What's my takeaway here? It's very, very superficial, like, you know, people die in war sort of message, which I think just like completely misses like a lot of depth that exists in the genre of war films. But hey, like 8th grade, you know, like read the translated book, watched the movie, thought it was, you know, sad. The end. so that was sort of my background, and I thought, well, let's give it another try. So here are the war movies that I've watched over like the last month. Okay, in no particular order. The Bridge on the River Kwai, The Dirty Dozen, Apocalypse Now, Platoon, Full Metal Jacket, Hacksaw Ridge, Lawrence of Arabia, All Quiet on the Western Front, again revisited it, and Grave of the Fireflies. And and I think I'm done. I think I'm done with war movies. I mean, watching like 10 of them, well, it should have been enough. But but I have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts about these, and I have to say, out of that list, they were all good. I don't want anyone walking away thinking that I thought any of these movies were bad. In fact, I got the recommendations for them just by sort of looking around online for what people had talked about when it came to war movies. And so I guess I'll just sort of get into it. And the first thing I'll say is that, like, if you're gonna sit down and watch one of these movies, and if you haven't watched a lot of war movies, I think my number one recommendation is Full Metal Jacket. I think that as a whole, it was like, some of these other movies are really, really good and really well put together, but they're also like incredibly long, and that can be a deterrent, I think, for a lot of people. So I guess I'll discuss these movies. I'll give my recommendations on like how I think you should approach these if you're going to watch any of them. So my general one is like, if you want to watch a war movie, watch Full Metal Jacket. And the reason that I appreciate it is because it spends a lot of time showing like boot camp from when when our protagonist first joins the Marines, and it really shows kind of like the environment by which the military like trains you to become a soldier who follows orders and someone like willing to kill. And also in terms of just like how the movie is presented. Okay, these guys don't have anything. It's very clear what the themes are, right? Like, it's called Full Metal Jacket. That refers to having like a fully loaded jacket to put in your gun. And like when you're first introduced to the concept, it's because someone has a gun and says like, yeah, it's a gun and it has a full metal jacket, and then proceeds to kill someone and kill himself. So like, it very clearly it ties like Full Metal Jacket as like, you're ready to be a killer, which is the entire point of you know, like boot camp. And then for the rest of the movie, you follow the protagonist, and the protagonist has on their helmet like they've written on their helmet the slogan "Born to Kill," but they also wear a peace sign pin on their jacket. And so it's very obvious that the movie is doing this like push and pull between like this conflicted lead character who, you know, joined the Marines, was trained to kill, but is, you know, I ideally would prefer a more peaceful resolution. And so like thematically very obvious to understand in your worst watch through. It's not like as crazy long as some of these other movies go. Very straightforward. If you're ready for a long movie, Lawrence of Arabia. Stupid long. Old enough movie to have its own intermission. But even like when I finished it, it was one of those movies where in a way that's opposite to Full Metal Jacket. You know what? I'm not going to censor any of these, I guess. These are old movies, so I'll just spoil everything as I talk about it. But Lawrence of Arabia is fascinating because unlike like every other war movie sort of presents this idea of like a general hesitancy to do murders, you know? It generally shows, you know, murder bad. Some pretty standard, I think, human ideals that war inherently challenges because you're going out there to kill people. But Lawrence of Arabia stands out because it was the only movie in the list that I watched where instead of being like nervous to murder, the protagonist enjoyed murder. And he outright says that. He says that he is worried about how much pleasure he takes out of killing. And I think that that's a really like compelling angle to explore for a war movie, because I think it's like pretty standard to kind of be like oh no, like are you ready to kill someone else? Are there reasons that could compel you to do that? And Lawrence of Arabia, it's... Oh, look, another egg. We should do something to pick that one up. We should drop one of our Pokemon. No, we're not dropping you. We're switching to the front. I think Regieleki was actually kicking it over here, so we'll put him back. Lawrence of Arabia is also a fun movie because it has Alec Guinness in it. That's the OG Obi-Wan Kenobi from the original Star Wars trilogy. And to be honest, I'd never seen him in any other movie before. So it was really interesting to see him in another role. He plays a like Saudi prince, I think, which is weird. But it was really funny because like I've only seen him as Obi-Wan like my entire life. And then to see him in a completely different, you know, setting and scenario. But yeah, he did a great job. Good movie. Lawrence of Arabia, if you're ready for something like long, it is very compelling. And from what I understand, it inspired Dune. And it's very obvious why it inspired Dune, because it has a lot of elements of the desert. I also just really enjoyed how there's sort of like, and I don't think thematically this ended up being the main point of the story in any way, but there's this really compelling part where Lawrence would spend time with various like Arab communities during World War I, and then he'd go back to like his British people. And it very obviously parallels the sort of like this like torn between two worlds sort of like dichotomy, which like, you know, that's been done before as well. There's Avatar, which is very obvious, you know, blue people movie where like, but again, Lawrence of Arabia is an old movie, so this one really was one of the first to do it. And I also thought was really compelling is that he sort of spends his time wanting to be adopted in to these tribes that he's fighting with, and then like sort of realizes that he's a fish out of water in both worlds, which I think is a really interesting sort of direction to take everything. But it's interesting because while he's away from the British officers, there's like a lot of religious language used in exchanges. And then when he's back with the British officers, it's very much this like authoritarian leadership environment that doesn't feature any religious talk. And it gave me this impression that like thematically the movie was exploring Lawrence of Arabia as this mythical hero and developing in front of our very eyes to inspire and unite a bunch of people who have historically disagreed on many fronts. And it explores that where you get the impression that like there's this mythos that exists out in the desert, but it doesn't exist back in like civilization in cities. And instead there's like this power of man that exists there. And Lawrence ends up becoming essentially a demigod in both worlds. It's really interesting. It's a really, really fascinating movie. I think, it's like, again, highly recommend that movie. Similar to that movie in terms of like long movie, Apocalypse Now. I actually watched Redux because I couldn't get my hands on any of the other ones as conveniently. Like Redux is, I think, on Netflix, but doesn't have the theatrical cut. I want to watch the theatrical cut because I'm sure that it probably moves a bit quicker, being a shorter movie. That's how things work. But anyways, Apocalypse Now is really fascinating because you feel like you are, as you go further and further up this river in Vietnam during the war, like people become, and like everyone becomes just a little bit more mad. Everyone's going like a little bit crazy. And by the time you get to the end of the movie, you yourself feel like that fever of, it's this very like captivating narrative. It's like very simple. It's just an officer is going on an undercover mission to kill another like US military leader who has gone rogue up in like Cambodia. And his job is just to assassinate him. Man, I thought these Gibbles and Garchomps would be ready to drop more items. So very simple premise, but as you go, you keep seeing like these occurrences, and they like things keep happening, and it keeps getting like weirder and weirder, and it's very captivating. But you're also like, again, it's a movie that I finished, and I was like, I had a very strong emotional reaction to just watching it, even though I couldn't really put it to words. It was like the opposite of Full Metal Jacket, where I feel like I finished Full Metal Jacket and I was like, okay, I can explain the back and forth. I can discuss the discourse, like this symbolism of having a full metal jacket or not. And, you know, the journey of the protagonist. I get to the end of Apocalypse Now and I just feel this overall just sort of like, again, just this absolute just like abandonment of humanity. and that's why I want to go back and watch it, because I'm like, you know what, I'm sure if I go back and watch it, it'll make a lot, like I'll be able to put to words better how I felt about the movie on a second watch. Another movie that was really close to being frustrating, that I almost, it was really close to being like a not recommend movie, and it all turned around in the end, was The Bridge on the River Kwai, which Alec Guinness is in that one too. He actually won an Oscar. I'm pretty sure he won an Oscar for Best Actor in that movie. That's another one I highly recommend. Long movie. I think it's a little under 3 hours. But that one, I was really worried about that movie, like going in, because it's about a Japanese prisoner of war camp during World War II that takes on a like new batch of British soldiers, and you're introduced to an American who's already in the prisoner of war camp, and he witnesses the arrival of this like British battalion, and the officer in charge is Alec Guinness, and it's like this, like right at the start, the Japanese officer. Oh, here we go. the Japanese officer is like, all right, like, you guys are going to help me build this bridge, and officers are going to help too. And Alex's character pulls out like a copy of the Geneva Convention. He just has it in book form. And he's like, oh, like, that'd be breaking the Geneva Convention. Prisoners of, like, officers do not do physical labor according to the Geneva Convention, which is like this really oddly specific thing. And then, come on, Haunter. Oh, that's not Haunter. Come on, Mr. Eves, let me put a Pokemon down. Thank you. And so what the Japanese officer does is he has them drive a truck around, and he reveals a just like machine gun, and he points it at all of them. And it's just sort of like this standstill of like, obey me or I'm going to shoot all of you. And I was watching it and I was like, if this was real, he would just shoot him. You know, like new prisoners come in, one of them says he doesn't want to work, just shoot him. Like what are they going to do? It's war. And obviously that isn't what happens. Oh, I have extra space. I accidentally picked him up. There we go. Back down you go. And so I was a little upset, and I was really worried because they were developing Alec Guinness's character to essentially be like a, no matter what, like, there's dignity in war and you should always like follow the rule of combat, which I just think is like counterintuitive to most war movie messages. And so I was like, I'm really worried about they're going to have some like positive upbeat message about like persevering instead of just like the reality of war, which is chaos and anyone can die at any time for any reason. And I won't really get into the ending, but essentially, suffice it to say, they don't end by saying that like there's these rules of engagement that everyone should uphold so we can have a nice war. Yeah, I'm also, hey guys, welcome to the chat. Sorry, I just wanted to wrap up my thoughts on the movie before I got to your comments. I'm also hoping for multiplayer. If you don't know, the most recent update is 0.8.5. Again, it doesn't add anything to the game. It's just quality of life, like, from what I understand, like back-end efficiency changes. So again, I don't even have it. I'm playing on 8.4. But they're still working on things, but it's a lot of like, we want to make the game run better and be more efficient. And also, yes, you can get Spiritomb. It's actually an encounter like the legendaries, and yeah, updates to the game. If you've played 6 months ago, I'm not sure. I assume that you've done like all of the Reggies, Unknown, Spiritomb, Mewtwo. Those are all the main story events that have been added. And so if none of those in-game events caught your interest, then no, you haven't missed anything. Yeah, I agree with you, Pleasant Lemon. I think that they're doing a lot of these back-end changes, because 0.8.4 was also just like no actual changes to gameplay. We're just streamlining it. I have a feeling that they need to sort of clean up a lot of code if they're gonna have an effective multiplayer. Because you're going to have two computers communicating across a bigger distance. So I assume that efficiency would be very necessary. Why do I keep playing this game? I haven't done all the events yet. It's really just that simple. After catching my Regigigas last episode, I talked a little bit about how I could see myself slowing down in playing this game. Because, I mean, after I get a Spiritomb... Oh, dang it, I keep adding Pokemon to my party. After I get a Spiritomb, there's really just unknowns to get, and I don't want to spawn a third island on the off chance that there are, like, third island specific elements to the game. There, let's heal Sneasel. Because, like, there are things that are specific to the second island. So yeah, it's even when I get through all the events, I'm tempted to finally like sit down and make what I would say is like an actually beautiful base, because I've been playing this game for max efficiency. I had the same problem. I had the exact same problem in playing Stardew Valley, where it's like I had this grand vision of making these beautiful farms, and then what I ended up just like spending my entire summer just only growing blueberries, as many blueberries as I could, like as many as I could water. It was literally just wake up, blueberries watering, take a midday nap to get my energy up, keep doing the blueberry watering until I passed out. And that was like my whole summer, and I got so much money, but but I never got around to making a really good looking farm. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen in this game. Oh yeah, there are shinies, and the shiny rate is significantly lower than the mainline games. It's like 1 in 256, I think. So it's actually very doable. I have 2 shinies. I got a overworld shiny Bulbasaur that I didn't even realize was shiny until I threw it out in a battle. And then I, of course, shiny hunted a Regigigas and got super lucky with that one. That could have been multiple nights of grinding. Yeah, beach area. I think so. One of the things about this game that I worry about is just the fact that I'm terraforming to get all of my material, right? Like, I think ashen soil is one of the few things that you can actually replicate by making lava and water touch, and you can have unlimited of that. But like grass, sand, like graveyards, you have to dig it up from somewhere else and move it. And so that's sort of a deterrent. But there's enough sand going around that I think you could do a really nice beach setup without like completely desecrating certain parts of your island. All right, let's see how many life force I have. $44. Not even halfway. No. I am excited for Scarlet and Violet. Are you so what are you guys' thoughts on which game you're gonna get? I think I'm leaning towards Violet right now. And also I saw that there's a Wiglet, but that's it. I just saw that there's a Wiglet, and I was like, oh cool. And it's not like a regional form, I guess. And I'm like, okay, like fun. I'm really interested to see what they do with the new mechanic of terrestrializing, because I've seen so many things. Oh, another egg. I've seen so many things online that are just like, oh well, you know, now it's going to be super easy to make Pokemon with like no weaknesses. So we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, Violet. Okay, yeah, everyone's getting Violet. Cool. Well, what are your reasons for that? Because I think mine just may be as simple as box legendary. I don't know. Yeah. Yep, box legendary. Makes sense. Yeah, it's interesting. Because I put my opinions out just on the internet to age forever. I got this comment from someone on a really old video where I was talking about like the Gen 8 graphics, I think, which like it's whatever. But they said that it was sort of blown out of proportion. And it's just one of those things where it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, it really is about how a game plays. And obviously, I understand, and I am in the camp of like wanting more, but contrast that to like the fact that I've played more Pokey Wilds than I have of Sword or Shield. And I mean, this game is just 2D. Nah, I didn't play Legends. I was on the fence about getting it. My friend got it. And he overall he liked it. Overall he liked it. I think his one complaint was he didn't like how long the story was, which I mean ended up being a fairly common complaint. But he told me that before I saw it online, so I'm just defending my friend. He wasn't bandwagoning on that complaint. But actually, I think I said this in one of my prior streams that seeing Scarlet and Violet kind of put the nail in the coffin for me going out of my way to get Arceus. So can you shiny hunt just? I assume just looking in the overworld. I mean, that's the only way. They don't have... Do they... man, I am showing that I did not play this game. They don't... Everything's an overworld encounter, right? Yeah, that is super cool. Alright, we're just gonna... 92... I love how you make your own Spiritomb. 40. Okay, we can do that. Yeah, it's so okay, you're right. There is no shame in not playing Pokemon. Ideally, anyone can play any game that they want, right? But also, I mean, I play a lot of PokeWilds, and when I play PokeWilds, I talk a lot about Pokemon. And there's a lot going on in the world of Pokemon right now. And, you know, it's not stuff that I feel like I really can speak much to because I'm not as invested as other people are. And so it's this really weird sort of dichotomy, for me at least, where I'm playing this game, but, you know, I'm not doing React videos for every update. But yeah, you're right. Thank you for reminding me. Who cares? Play what games you want. Don't play a game you don't want to. It's whatever. How many Pokemon are obtainable in Wilds? Honestly, couldn't tell you. And it's a pretty haphazard selection, because you have a little bit from a lot of generations, but not like, you know, I'm interacting with the Gen 4 pseudo legendary right now, and I know that there are a lot of other Gen 4 Pokemon that are missing. So, but that is. It's really interesting. They're sourcing a lot of the art just through volunteer work. If you go on Discord, you can like, I mean, they've had a lot of trouble, I think, with getting it organized. But you like claim a Pokemon sprite, a Pokemon line, and then you can do the sprite work for it. And they've actually been working on various overworld animations too. So like when your Pokemon uses Cut, it actually does something, which will be cool. Alright, let's wake up. Oh, actually... Yeah. This guy's sleeping. This guy's sleepwalking. Let's pick him up. Alright, what berry? What berry? There we go. Chesto berry. There you go. One thing that I'm really interested to see is they started out, I don't think they initially thought they'd do multiplayer when they started making this game, because they provided alternate evolutions that didn't involve trading. And now they're doing multiplayer. And so I wonder if they're going to sort of just keep both methods in, if they're going to be like, oh yeah, you can trade it to evolve it, or if you're not going to be playing this in multiplayer form, just use this stone. Really curious to see how that works out. Because trading to evolve has always been... I think it's always been one of the sore points of Pokemon. Because it's not easy to coordinate. But I think like it's one of those things that I think is really cool on paper. But then it's like, as a kid... that's the crazy thing is, as a kid... My brothers and I, we had multiple Game Boys, and we had like yellow and red, and even then we didn't really trade for evolutions. Even though we lived in the same house, it couldn't have been any easier than it was for us, and it's just something we never got around to. I agree. And that's the thing is, because they've already put into the game the fact that you don't need to trade to evolve Pokemon, like, why take it out? You know, it's already in the game, just leave it. And then also, sure, like, allow trading. Yep, it sure takes a lot. It takes a lot to be able to trade. I'm gonna have so many dragon scales when I'm done with this. Oh, actually, you know, I was talking about terraforming. I mean, Pokemon drop things to terraform with. You can get soft sand. You can get unlimited soft sand. My Steelixes give me more soft sand than I want. Yeah, and ice types give you never melt ice, so you could do unlimited ice. One thing that I've seen listed as like eventually maybe we'll get it is a bucket. Significantly easier than having to dig trenches everywhere you go. Man, I've just been walking around with this Duskull. Should have dropped it a while ago. It could be dropping stuff for me. There we go. Ah, dig up a whole island. I actually really like that. Yeah, that'd be fun to just wipe a whole island. Yeah, you'd never have to mine again. You could build whatever you wanted. I remember when I first found this game, I was looking up what other people had made online, and they had some just absolutely stunning stuff. And then I was just sitting here with like my prison cells. The obvious hurdle for digging up a whole island is just absolutely how much time that would take. I remember like one night I really wanted to make sure I'd explored my entire island, so I flew, and it was just flying back and forth on a map, and that took forever. And And I wasn't even digging. So it would be absolutely monumental to do, but it'd be very funny. Yeah, I don't. Is there a limit to how many islands you can spawn in this game? Could I just fly like 5 miles, maps to the left? I'd be really interested to see if there is some sort of upper limit, because it does remember your islands, right? Nope. Dang it. Duskull, you're supposed to give me things, not get picked up. Alright, we're at 26. We're getting close. Wow, no limit? That's super cool. Yeah, I have no idea. When you say delete an island, I don't even know how you would do that. I would assume that after you've completely decimated an island and left, you came back, it'd be how you left it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the map would just be open water. I think we're down to 14. That'll be 13. This is the Duskull I keep picking up and putting down. Right? No, it's the other one. Okay. You know, I haven't even looked at what level this Spiritomb's gonna be at. There's a... I think because it's a set encounter, I could just wipe it and have as many tries as I want. But at this point in the game, I'm more worried about it being over-leveled than me one-shotting it. I didn't know that you could delete him. That's cool. Alright, we're getting close. We're getting close. $36. Okay, 4 more. You know, I'm surprised that this game doesn't have like a time skip feature for going to bed. If you don't want to be out in the nighttime. But hey, like version 1 hasn't even come out yet, so who am I to make that observation? Yeah, you know, you bringing up the night music, yeah, new music. I think I heard something about that. I think I saw something online about how they're gonna be updating the night soundtracks. So at least 2 more songs for the desert and I guess mountains. Good to know. Very good to know. At this point, I basically open up the Discord and just look at the announcements thread. Just make sure that I know what updates are being added to the game. Well, that's not the only thing. I also go and look at... I search so much stuff on that, where I'll just see if what questions people are asking about it. Okay, we only need like 4 more, right? We're in the end game here. Yep, that's 40. While we're here, we'll just finish the row, and then we'll go awaken it. Yeah, I completely agree. This music really is great. I love old school music. Ring 40. Well, what do you know? What if we give it too many? Let's give it 41. Here we go. I love that. Eula. I love the translation of Pokemon cries into text. It's delightful. I couldn't spell that any better way. Oh, level 25? Oh, this guy's ruined. Well, actually, Draining Kiss is gonna one-shot it. So let's do it. Yeah. Yeah, okay. About what I expected. Okay, cool. Let's try again. No, I don't have a Pokemon with False Swipe. I think I've looked at getting a Scizor. I think Scizor would be the Pokemon that I'd like that has it in this game. I'm pretty sure. I'd need to look at the movesets. Alright, doesn't affect. Okay, we're gonna switch. We are gonna throw rocks. I don't think I have the team for this. Ugh, everyone has Confuse Red. Yep, Ancient Power. Hit it with rocks. When in doubt. Thank you so much. Come on. One more. One more. Come on. Nah. Can't have them all. I love the sound for the Nightshade attack. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I should have brought I should have brought some way to paralyze. Oh, there we go. Okay. Woo! Second try, and we'll just ignore that I did a normal type attack at it. Let's just pretend that that didn't happen, and I knew what I was doing the whole time. Scyther just stops learning moves? That would... Yeah, okay, this is why I need to look at the movesets. Alright, let's look at what we got here. Oh, it only knows 3 moves. Interesting. Nightshade, Confuse Ray, Nasty Plot. Well, I guess we saw all its moves then. Nice. Sprite work is great too. I conceptually I just love this design of Spiritomb, and of course the lore. All the ghost type Pokemon get the fun backstories because they're actual spirits, you know. All right. Ditto. Thank you for the manure. I'm sure it'll come in handy. Let's pick you up. And let's drop Spiritomb down and let's take a look at Spiritomb. Oh, come on. Come on. This is their only form of protest because I put them in terrible living conditions. So they always move to the open space. Oh, there's a side view. Nice. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Very thin from the side. Oh, I need to put it down at night. Okay, I'll pick it up again. But anyways, there we go. Next thing on the list is Catch Unknowns. That'll probably be my next stream, but of course, alternating streams. I'm going to be going back to Jedi Academy. Yeah, Jedi Academy, and I'm gonna win. Yeah, Pleasant Lemon, thanks for having my back. Yeah, GG's. All right, hey, thanks everyone for tuning in. That's gonna be it for me. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next stream. Thanks for watching.